Hey everyone, Brian here with DIY Outdoor Life. For today's video, by popular demand, we're going to be taking a look at the Bluetti Charger 1. This is their version of a fast charger for portable power stations designed to draw off your tow vehicle. So it's going to work 5 or 6 times faster than the car charger that came with your power station. One of the highlights we'll discuss is that it outputs to MC4 cables. There's nothing proprietary about this, so it'll actually work with 95% of portable power stations on the market. I've tested all of mine from different brands. I think this thing's a great buy. It's gonna be a cool video. Let's get to it. So there's a lot of these products on the market now. I reviewed the EcoFlow Alternator Charger on the channel. I've worked with the Victron one quite a bit. There's a lot that's in common with these devices, and we'll discuss that, but there's some important differences as well that might make one a better buy for you. Whether it's this one or not, I'm hoping to be able to help you out with that. Now, starting with the similarities, these devices are basically a smart DC to DC charge controller. They're designed to draw off your tow vehicle's alternator. So they work with 12 or 24 volt sources. That's going to work with all of our alternators. Now, an alternator puts out constant voltage, but it has variable current. So this takes advantage of that by drawing a lot of current. But what it does is it converts that current to a higher voltage and a lower current. So its output is primed to work with the solar charge controllers on our power station. That's what those like. And if this is all black magic to you, it doesn't matter. What this device can do is make you charge a lot faster when you're driving down the road and you're bringing your power station with you. Now, as far as the differences, besides the key here being those MC4 outputs, some of the other ones like the EcoFlow Alternator Charger that I reviewed have a large proprietary output that only works with certain EcoFlow power stations, and that's it. Besides having the MC4s, it has an adjustable output voltage. That allows me to use smaller portable power stations and ones that don't have solar charge controllers that can handle the full charge. So that versatility is going to be key here. If you've been around the block for a while, you understand what these devices are doing. They're fixing the weak link in the chain for portable power station charging. This is the Elite 200 from Bluetti. I just reviewed this one on the channel. This can charge with 1800 watts from a wall charger. That's lightning fast. Its solar charge controller can handle up to 1000-watt solar array. But as far as car charging, it's the same as every other power station on the market. You get about 100 to 120 watts, and that's really, really slow. But it's not your power station's fault. Now, it's starting to rain on my film day, so maybe I'll have to go even faster. That's good for you. But if you look inside your tow vehicle, as far as the electrical output, you might have a couple USBs and your standard old-fashioned cigarette lighter style plug. That plug has been around forever, but it can only handle about 10 amps. That equates to about 120 watts. So your power stations are designed to not blow that fuse repeatedly. That would be a nuisance. So that's why they're designed to charge really, really slow from a tow vehicle. These alternator chargers are designed to bypass that system, and I'm going to explain how that works. But the first thing I want to do, because I know a lot of people are going to ask, is address if you have an onboard inverter in your vehicle. Most modern vehicles, you might have an outlet in there, and beginners get confused because they think if it fits, it ships. That's not the case. Look at the cover on that inverter. It'll tell you 200, 300, 400 watts. That's not enough to run the wall chargers on these. You're going to reset the breaker on that device if you try. If you do a little bit of a deeper dive, I have an oscilloscope, you'll see that a lot of those inverters have modified sine wave. It's kind of a dirtier output, and that's not really good for sensitive electronics. Neither is leaving these out in the rain, so I might ditch some of my props here and continue this video. Okay, I'm not made of sugar, but I don't want to destroy all my gear just because I'm filming in spring showers here. So what this device does is it bypasses that electrical interface where there's fuses and breakers and things like that that can be a nuisance. They give you, when you buy the Charger 1, A really nice, high quality copper cable, heat shrinks, nice crimps. It has a resettable DC breaker. They're giving you really good gear with this, and this is not cheap. What we're gonna do is pop the hood on the vehicle. Red to red, black to black. It's gonna connect to your vehicle's battery. That's where the alternator's connected. Now they gave you a really nice protective sheath here so that you can poke this back through the firewall on your vehicle. That's gonna send it out down at your feet on the driver's side. From there, most of us have a plastic cover above your rocker there that just pops out. When you do that, you'll see that there's a wire trough there. You might have to vacuum. There's like French fries and things like that. Well, what's gonna happen is you're gonna be able to run this wire to the back of your vehicle, and they give you really nice crimped ferrules here on the end, and they gave you an Allen key with the kit. That's just gonna connect into this Charger 1, and this is gonna be installed permanently on your vehicle. You plug your power station in, start your car, and on your next road trip, you're gonna get a lot faster charging, and it's a game changer. I can bring less solar. I don't have to buy as big a power station. This actually can save you a lot of money if you don't ruin it leaving it out in a rainstorm. Now, I consider this project pretty simple. It is beginner friendly, but if this is above your pay grade, don't worry about it. Any place that does backup cameras, car stereos, my local neighborhood mechanic will do this in less than an hour. They're not gonna charge me a lot of money to do this install if you don't wanna do a DIY project. Now, with this device in the back of your car, you have to think about how big of a charging difference this is. With a modern power station, it took 18 hours of car charging to match 1 hour of wall charging. I've now really pulled these numbers in a lot closer together, and this can go up to 580 watts. So even with a big power station like that, Elite 200, I can get to 80% in about 3 hours. With the device installed in your vehicle, you can open up your Bluetti app. If you're charging a Bluetti power station, it is simple as just pushing the power station that you have. The device will automatically set itself to the parameters of that Bluetti power station. For all of the bigger power stations, it'll max itself out. If you have a smaller Bluetti, it'll have it on the list and it'll turn itself down to charge as fast as it's able to charge for that particular power station. What we have to pay attention to is if we're using non-Bluetti power stations. Most of the bigger ones can handle the whole gamut from this. But if you're using smaller ones, like this is the River 2 Pro, you're gonna have to pay attention here. The trick is to look at your solar charge controller. This particular unit can handle 50 volts. We don't want to go higher than that. So you just click custom on the app and turn it down to 50 volts or lower, and you can charge this power station. I have some really old power stations that can only handle 22 volts. So you're gonna want to turn down your Charger 1 so that you don't give too high a voltage. That's how we give up the magic smoke and damage our gear. So with the great privilege of being able to use this with all sorts of brands and sizes comes the responsibility of knowing how to check that solar voltage. It'll be posted there, and make sure we don't go over that. It's gonna charge slower, but it's gonna charge as fast as the device that you own can handle. And that's all that we can ask for. Okay, I did have to move before I destroyed my camera. So we've covered the basics here. You should understand what this device is. I do want to cover some more advanced topics because I know some of my viewers are pretty astute with this stuff. If you are tuning off here, I do have a promo code and I put those links in my video description. It saves you money and it helps support the channel. If you don't want to use those, that's fine. But if you are watching the channel and this is helpful to you, that's what allows me to continue to make videos. So check out those links and I'll try to save you guys as much money as possible if you're shopping for a product like this. But now for the advanced topics that I know some people are gonna ask. The first one was that when I did the EcoFlow Alternator Charger, I emphasized what a big deal it was that you could just draw off a battery. You didn't have to hook it up to your tow vehicle at all. And EcoFlow allows you to turn down the input voltage to 12. So it draws the majority of your standalone battery down, and it can save you a lot of money, and it provides a convenience there. With this Bluetti product, they're telling you not to do that. So I have a little incognito account. I asked questions to tech support. They said, oh no, please don't do that with this system. Then I ask through the channel, and I usually get a better answer. But in this case, they're advising folks not to set that up. But I can do what I want with my gear. You don't have to copy what I'm doing. So I just want to explain that I did set it up this way. I hooked up the inputs. Instead of my tow vehicle, I hook it up to a standalone battery. My larger 300 amp hour lithiums worked extremely well. The only thing that wasn't doing so well is that it automatically turns itself off every 30 minutes. It's designed to not kill your starter battery. That's why it's doing that. So that's a little inconvenience, but it's not a big deal. Usually at the campsite, I just need to do a couple cycles like that and boost the power station up. So good news for that. With smaller 100 amp hour batteries, I noticed that it starts turning itself off very quickly as that battery gets depleted. See, the voltage dips down and tricks the device into thinking that you turned your car off. This is why I suspect, and I just suspect, I'm not telling you what to do, that Bluetti is telling you not to do that because it's kind of annoying. It's not designed for it. But as far as all my testing, I found nothing that's dangerous or unsafe to do, so I will continue to use this product that way. I just want to caution you, Bluetti says not to. Next advanced topic. If this device is drawing from your alternator and its output is basically simulating solar, that's what it's doing, right? You're plugging it into the solar charge controller in your power station. Why couldn't you hook that to a standalone battery with a solar charge controller? You can. I tried this several times and it works perfectly. I have a little Victron MPPT. I connect it to a battery. I plug this device into it. And when you're driving down the road, it works like a DC to DC charge controller that way. It very quickly charged up my lithium battery. You could even plug it into the solar charge controller on your camper and get 580 watts into the camper. So I give it 2 thumbs up for an off-label use there. For some of my advanced users, I think you know why that would be so convenient, but even just bringing a spare battery in the car with me, it's a really cool thing to be able to charge that up and connect that to a DC fridge or something like that. The final topic, and the one that I know that a lot of people are going to ask about, is this bad for your alternator? And the truth is, if you're asking that question, chances are you have a pretty decent understanding of what's going on here, but I could do a 40-minute video about this and this alone. So here is the Reader's Digest version of my opinion on this question. Most of the time, your vehicle's alternator correlates with the size of vehicle that you have. So if you have a large truck or a big SUV, you have an alternator that has a lot of headroom on it. It has some spare areas to run a device like this. They're designed maybe to run a plow or a sander or auxiliary lights on your vehicles. Many of you have put in big subwoofers on your cars that draw more wattage than a device like this. So with your bigger vehicles, I think this is fine. A catch for my teardrop folks is a lot of times you can get away with towing with a smaller vehicle. So if you're towing with a small crossover or a Jeep Wrangler or a Subaru, something like that, you might not have as much headroom on your alternator. So that's a decision that you have to make. It will definitely run it, but it does, you know, as you get up to the upper limits, it's gonna have some wear and tear on that device like anything else we do is. So that's a decision you have to make. One area that beginners get really confused on is the reason why we don't hook lithium batteries up to the alternator on our vehicle directly is because it causes, amongst other things, transients, these power spikes. The BMS turns off repeatedly, whether it's full, it's too cold, it got a blip of high voltage. That's what a BMS does. And every time it shuts off while your alternator is under load, it causes a big spike. This device is like a DC to DC charge controller. It's not gonna do that. So the worst thing we do to our alternators with lithium batteries, this will take care of. As far as just wear and tear, yeah, it's a much heavier load on your alternator, and that is the shortest version of what I can share to answer that question. I hope it helps some people out, but it is very complicated.